All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Stony Brook University and College Week Live and our virtual open house 2014. Doing something very special over the course of the next 5 hours or so. We will be here to take your questions and concerns and all things Stony Brook. Find out all the things that you need to find out about the university. Any questions that you might have, we are here and at your disposal. A quick overview of what we're going to be talking about today. We will talk for the next little bit about sort of general questions about what makes Stony Brook so fantastic and all the great kinds of things that we have to offer here. We will also later on at 4 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock now, sorry, at 5 o'clock we will talk with one of our pre-med advisors, talk about pre-med here at Stony Brook. 6 o'clock we will be joined with a couple of students from the College of Business. At 7 o'clock, we will talk about student life, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will talk with a couple of students from our College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. So lots of things to do. My name is Chris Dorso. I'm an assistant director in the admissions office here at Stony Brook. I've been on campus for nine and a half years now. I've heard every question there is, and we do ask you to please submit your questions through the College Week Live interface, and we will do our best to get to as many of them as we can. My colleague to my right is Jason Hyatt, and I'll let Jason introduce himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason Hyatt. I'm a senior here at Stony Brook University, double majoring in political science and psychology. I'm involved in a lot of different clubs and organizations. I also live on campus as well, so feel free to ask me any questions as well about my experiences here and anything else I can share.
Cool. So we're going to talk a little bit first about Stony Brook in general. People sort of, whether you are an admitted senior who is deciding whether to enroll or whether this is one of your first college search experiences. Stony Brook, we're a reasonably large place. We're part of the State University of New York system. We are one of the flagship University Center campuses. We are about 24,000 students when you include all of our graduate students and everything else. We really have a real fantastic, you get a real sense of the world here at Stony Brook, I think. The diversity piece is so important to us. The academic, the rigor here is very, very strong. You've got a world-class research university out here, right smack dab in the middle of Long Island. We are about 60 miles from New York City, 60 miles from the east end of Long Island, a great suburban campus. Unfortunately, with the sun glare, we can't show you through our windows here. We're in our athletics complex at our football stadium. We've got 20 Division I sports, 370 clubs and organizations, lots of things to do on campus. And we're starting to get questions in, so that's fantastic. So we'll start with our first question. We've got a question that asks about astronomy or computer science. And yeah, most definitely. People kind of think of Stony Brook as a science school. Yep. For what that's worth. We offer a lot. There's 200 majors and minors and combined degree programs, so you've got a lot of options here. But one of the big things about Stony Brook that you've got that's important to understand is that we are a research university, and what that means for you as an undergrad is that you will have the opportunity to really get beyond the classroom here. You will take your courses, and you'll be exposed to a great array of faculty, but you will be involved beyond the classroom, whether that be in one of the labs, out in the field, and there are lots of opportunities to do that. And one of the, from the astronomy perspective, we do have an observation tower on campus. The first Friday of every month is astronomy night, and the faculty, weather permitting, will open up the telescope, and they'll do observations, and there's a lecture by one of our faculty. So lots of opportunities there. Computer science, the other side of that question, we're one of the first computer science departments in the country, and we are currently building a brand new, beautiful $20 million computer science research building right in the center of campus. So computer science definitely positions to grow right now. We do offer degrees at the bachelor's level as well as at the graduate level as well.
Yep. And also just to add on to that, if you are interested in both astronomy and computer science or any two different distinct areas of study, there's the opportunity to take classes in both, and you can major in computer science and also take classes in astronomy or vice versa. So there's definitely the opportunity to kind of design your own course, so to speak, in terms of what you want to take here.
Yeah, I try to impress upon that with our students as much as I can, the importance of really looking at your 4 years of college as a package, and not necessarily thinking about it of what's my major and what do I have to take, but what do I want to take and what do I want to do and what other kinds of experiences do I want to get. And you may be interested in astronomy, but don't necessarily know how to go about doing that. Well, the cool thing about astronomy and computer science, to use that example, is that they're both come at it from the same sort of math and physics background. So if your first semester you're taking calc and you're taking physics, that puts you on a pretty good track to go either or both of those two directions. So kind of nice, a nice combination there. We've got a question about the residence halls. How are the dorms at Stony Brook and how are they divided?
All right.
My Res Life Pro?
So we do have 2 different types of living, or rather 3 different types of living. I'll go into that a little bit further, but we have corridor style and suite style living. So corridor style is essentially you'll have 1 or 2 roommates when you move in, and you'll be in a bedroom, and then you'll share a common bathroom on your floor, and there'll be a number of different bedrooms on your floor as well. And then in suite style, it is a suite, for lack of a better word there, but it'll have 3 different bedrooms inside and its own bathroom inside, as well as a common living space. And the common living space can either be set up as a living room or as a kitchen. So those are the 2 distinct styles. And then when you become an upperclassman, when you're of junior or senior standing, we also have our upperclassman apartments as well. So that's more of the transitional upperclassman apartment style living as well, which will have 6 bedrooms, a kitchen, a living room, etc.
We have another housing slide that I want to switch to. Nope, the other one is 21, I believe, if I'm remembering my numbering correctly. There it is. So you can kind of get a sense of the halls there. We don't have freshman-specific housing. Freshmen live everywhere on campus except for, as Jason said, the apartments. So you'll be living with, most of our freshmen are housed specifically with other freshmen, so you'll have a freshman roommate, but you'll be living down the hall, upstairs, downstairs from folks from really across the 4 years here at Stony Brook. We house almost 10,000 students on campus, so there's really a little bit of something for everything, absolutely. Lots of questions coming through. So we got a couple of application sorts of questions. Student asking about IB courses and what we're looking for admissions-wise. From an admissions perspective, here's the way I to cut down the admissions process into a minute or less. So there's really 3 things that we look at from an admissions perspective. And the first thing that we look at, the most important thing, is your high school transcript. And we're specifically talking about the freshman application here. Your courses that you're taking, your grades in those classes, all very, very important. Using the engineering, computer science, astronomy example again, if you're thinking about natural sciences, pre-med, physical therapy, or anything along those lines, make sure you're on a calculus track, make sure you're taking physics, things like that. Second piece that we look at is your standardized testing, SAT, ACT. They are equivalent to us, doesn't matter which one you take, either one is fine. Then the third piece is something I lovingly like to call everything else. That's your essay, your recommendation letters, any sort of extracurricular things that you're doing, all of that goes into that factor as well. So to address the IB question, the IB piece is important. We like to see students challenging themselves and doing well at the high school level. So if you have the opportunity to take AP and IB courses, we do look at that very, very favorably because we know you're used to the kind of rigor that you're going to get when you get here to Stony Brook. So that's pretty much that. Question about pre-law.
So funny enough, I'm actually pre-law myself in the sense I'm going to law school starting in the fall of 2014, so I can talk definitely about that. And there is no pre-law major. It doesn't exist. It's not something that you can do. But however, there are law-related classes you can take, and you can kind of create your own pre-law track, which is what I've done. So you can take different classes related to theories in the law or actual practices in the law or just general related categories. And you can kind of sculpt your own sort of track. We also have pre-law advisors here, so people who are trained to specifically help you with either law school applications, your law school search, what you think you should be doing to ensure that you are the best candidate for law school. and all of the above there. So those resources also exist for you. But also, you can major in whatever you want to go to law school, and that applies for a lot of other different programs as well. So there's no specific major or program you have to be in. It's kind of what you make of it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing. So if you say, I want to go into do business law or something along those lines, major in business. I had a old roommate in college who wanted to go into the pharmaceutical kinds of things, was a biochemistry major, and then wound up going to law school. So lots of ways to do that, again, based around what I was saying earlier, thinking about that 4 years as a full package and not necessarily, all right, just let me get through this in order. You want to make it interesting, you want to make it engaging, and really do the kinds of things that you enjoy. Our pre-med advisor says something in the context of pre-med, and it makes sense for pre-law or really pre-anything. Choose a major that you like, and choose a major that likes you back. So something that you'll both enjoy and you'll do well in. So very, very important to think about. All right, Zachary wants to know about information on the music program. So we talked about how Stony Brook is a science school, and the music piece actually here at Stony Brook is very, very vibrant for a science school. We have a large center for the arts right in the center of campus. We do shows really on all levels, large scale professional programs that come in, as well as all of our student ensembles. And those run the gamut from the smaller chamber type groups to the symphony orchestra to the marching band, choirs. You've got a cappella groups on campus. If you want to be musical, you will have the opportunity to do that here. The music major specifically does require an audition for applicants. So you are considered academically for admission to the university first, and then you will audition with the music department. And then you'll be placed with an advisor and go from there. So there is sort of that second step for majors. If you want to minor in music, or if you are just interested in taking music courses, there is no audition requirement. Some of the ensembles have audition requirements. If you want to be in the orchestra, you kind of have to audition. But it's a pretty musical campus, I gotta say, really across the board.
Yep. And even just to touch on the social aspect of it all, we do have a competition called Stony Brook Idol,
That's right.
which will take place annually. It's actually coming up in the next month or so. So there's that competition. There are open mic nights across campus as well that happen basically every week or every other week. So it's definitely a very musically inclined campus, even though it does have the reputation of the science school, quote unquote.
Yeah. And the nice thing about that is you can major in computer science and still be a music person. You're not, you don't have to be a major to be involved in any of the music pieces here. Question about coming in undecided. Should I be worried if I'm coming in undecided? It's funny. It's a question that we get so much, and it's sort of gone back and forth in the last couple of years because so many students at 16, 17 years old don't necessarily know what they want to do with the rest of their lives, and I totally understand that. If you really don't know what your plans are, and you think undecided is the best fit for you, by all means, go for it. Again, you've got 4 years, you've got time to kind of figure that out. From an admissions perspective though, particularly if you do kind of have an idea of a direction you want to go, it can benefit you to have that plan early. So again, engineering, a natural science, or really whatever, you want to make sure that you're tracked by the department so that they can advise you properly on the courses to take so that you're on track to graduate on time. Graduating in 4 years is something that has become a priority here at Stony Brook. We've got a new council that has been formed to really help students do that. We want to make sure that you go on and that you're successful and that you get into law programs or med programs and you get great jobs and you come back and you tell us how wonderful everything is out in the real world. Because everything will be wonderful once you get out in the real world, I promise. So you got lots of time, so don't worry about it if you're undecided.
And just to share a little bit about myself, when I applied to Stony Brook, I applied as a political science major only. And then after my first semester, I took an intro to psychology course, just for interest, I guess, and I ended up liking it a lot. So my second semester, I declared the psychology major. And I had no plans of becoming a psychology major out of high school. It just kind of happened, and I stuck with it and be graduating with both degrees. So if you don't know what you want to do or you want to change what you're doing, that's totally fine when you come here. And I believe you have until your junior year to actually officially declare the major that you're going to be graduating with. So there's definitely time to kind of think about what you want to do, as well as take a variety of courses either to challenge yourself or to find your passion if you don't have it right away.
Absolutely. So you've got a question about the meal plans, dining on campus. Lots of dining options on campus, actually.
Yes, definitely. So there are a number of different types of meal plans depending on if you're living on campus or not. If you are a resident student, there are 4 different types of meal plans that you can have: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And that speaks for itself in terms of number of points allotted. And then if you're a commuter, we have commuter plans as well. And they are typically, well, I guess the dining options themselves that go along with the meal plans, there are a lot of different options to choose from. We have a number of brand name companies here as well. We have Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Wendy's. We actually have 2 different Starbucks on campus because everyone likes their coffee here. But we have a lot of different varieties of food as well when you talk about pizza, salad, burritos. The list really goes on and on. And there are, I believe, 5 different dining facilities here on campus as well that are scattered across campus.
So 5 major ones anyway, yeah, right.
So wherever you are on campus, whether you're coming from class or whether you're in your room, you definitely have a pretty short walk to go to grab some food and just hang out and enjoy.
Yeah, and you can see on the slide here to the right of the screen, we have a nutritional counselor on campus. So if you're concerned about the freshman 15, as they say, she is happy to help. And what she'll actually do, if you have a specific need, you've got a food allergy, or you're looking for gluten-free or vegan food or whatever, her name is Tina Tiernan. She'll actually walk you around campus and show you all of the different options that are available for you. And they've really greatly expanded the kinds of things that they offer in the last couple of years, culinarily, if you will, and constantly growing. We do a big food show every year where they bring in all the new experiences that they're doing dining-wise. We just opened the new Roth Dining Center, and phase 2 of that will open, I believe, next year. So that's there's always new things when it comes to campus dining.
And also, the campus dining facilities here are really interested in student feedback, so they're always taking into account what students want for their food. So when people make suggestions, they typically get implemented as well. So student interest is definitely taken into account when it comes to food.
Yep, very much, very much. So we've got a question about medical school, and the question is, does it look better to attend Stony Brook? Do Stony Brook students do better getting into medical school here at Stony Brook, if I'm reading the question correctly? If you talk to our folks in the School of Medicine, they'll take students from all over the place. They don't just take Stony Brook students. But I do know that our students do very, very well at getting into medical programs, and I'm going to sort of defer that question to our next hour when we have one of our pre-med advisors who will be sitting with us to really go into some of the meat of what we do from a pre-med perspective and the kinds of opportunities, both here with our med school as well as med schools around the world. What's it like around campus? Is it a small or large town outside of Stony Brook? Very good question.
Definitely. So there's always something going on here in Stony Brook. Just to kind of give an example of our highlight times, we have a thing called Campus Lifetime. So on Wednesdays from 1 to 2:20, and every Wednesday. It's basically a break from most classes and other activities, and they're usually events that are held on campus right near our student activity center or our student union or both. And really it's just to get people out and about. Usually it comes with either some free giveaways or free food or just different
there's always free food.
There's always food to be found here during those events. In terms of the campus, although it is a quite large campus, a lot of things are centered around the center of the campus. So all the academic buildings are in the middle of campus, and the residence halls kind of spread around that. So it feels like a much smaller community once you're here, as opposed to looking at it on a map. And then in terms of off campus, we do have a variety of stores and restaurants right outside of our campus, so just a walk right off our campus across the street, which is actually where the Long Island Railroad stop is as well, so you can take the train into the city directly from Stony Brook. But then right across, we have a number of different restaurants and other stores to go to. And then not too far, which a lot of people do go to, is a neighboring town called Port Jefferson, which is just a short cab ride away that a lot of students take advantage of as well.
Yep, and you also have a major, the area's major shopping mall is 5 minutes south of campus, and there is a bus that goes down to the mall and to Target. Very easy to get down there on the weekends. You see a picture of the campus here on the slide, and so you kind of get a sense of it. Makes it seem gigantic, but you also see how close we are to the water, which is kind of nice. It's bikeable. I wouldn't say it's walkable. I guess it's walkable. It's not that far. But you do have really easy access to lots of different things off campus, which is kind of nice. Decidedly suburban. Let's see. Question about our undergraduate student population. We've got about 16,000 undergrads. We take a freshman class of about 2,700 freshmen each year, and about 1,200 or so transfers each year as well. Question about honors in computer science. We do have an honors program in computer science. We have an honors program in our College of Business as well. Those two programs, and I'm going to sort of generalize from this question, those two programs specifically, honors computer science and the business leaders program, the departments consider all declared majors for that program automatically as freshmen. So when you come in, the department takes into consideration for admission into that program. I do not believe you can get into those programs after freshman year because they are tied into the freshman experience. So I don't believe that they are available after freshman year. However, some of the departmental honors programs don't start until after freshman year. Biology honors and political science honors, all the departmental stuff, once you get into your major coursework, then you'll contact your advisor about, if you're doing well in the courses, about honors options within your specific major. Question about Greek life.
So we do have a number of different Greek life organizations on campus. I can't remember the specific number, but I do know we have both social fraternities and sororities as well as pre-professional fraternities and sororities, or rather co-ed fraternities. So they're pre-law, pre-engineering, pre-med, I'm forgetting a few of them, but there are a lot of other ones. And there's also social ones as well. And what's cool about Stony Brook is because there are so many different types of clubs and organizations on campus, there are a lot of people involved in Greek life, but it's not one of those campuses where you feel like you have to be in Greek life and to be a part of the social culture. So I think it's only something around 15 to 20% of people are actually in Greek life here at Stony Brook, but it depends on how people get involved as well. So people get involved in all different types of years as well, whether you start off as a freshman or whether you get involved sophomore, junior year. So there are definitely opportunities for that.
Yeah, I think that's an important piece, that there's quite a lot to do on campus actually. When I started here 9 years ago, our little presentation here, the slide with the clubs listing, had like 140 clubs and organizations, and now that number you can see is well up over 300 clubs and organizations. So there's really quite a bit to do on campus. The weekend question comes up a lot about what there is to do on the weekends, and there's athletic events on campus, performances at the Stoller Center and at the Wong Center, cultural kinds of things. There are club activities, trips on the weekends to any number of places. We'll do ski trips in the winter and beach trips in the summer. There are, what else? There's quite a bit.
Yep, there's definitely, if you're interested in cultural clubs, we have a number of different cultural clubs as well if you want to be a part of that, and also different sports-related ones or different just niche focuses as well, clubs. So there's really a club out there for just about anybody who's interested in just about anything. So definitely great ways to get involved.
Absolutely. There was a question that's scrolled by about cars on campus. Freshmen are not allowed to have cars on campus. You cannot have a car on campus. Residential students cannot have a car on campus until you've reached junior standing. It is pretty easy to get around, actually. Transportation here at Stony Brook is pretty good. The bus system, as I mentioned, gets you around campus. It goes down to Target and Walmart and the grocery store, down to the mall, all of that. So it's easy to get around wherever you need to get. As Jason mentioned, you've got the LIRR, the Long Island Railroad on campus, so it's an easy shot into New York City. And so even if you don't have a car on campus, it's pretty easy to get wherever you need to get by and large. And you'll probably wind up with a friend who has a car, most likely, somewhere. All right, question about scholarships on financial aid. So we do offer scholarships and we do offer financial aid. About 75% or so of our students are on some kind of financial support, whether that be scholarships or grants or something along those lines. So the scholarship piece, obviously very important. Affordability is very, very important for you guys as you're getting ready for your college search, if you're doing that start now. We consider everybody for scholarships automatically. There are no separate applications for scholarships. Typically, scholarship consideration starts around the mid-90s high school unweighted GPA and around a 1300 reading and math SAT score or a 29 composite ACT score. It varies a little bit from year to year. There are some departmental things that happen as well, but by and large, that's typically where most of our scholarship dollars are. Once you do get to campus, though, there are lots of other means for financial support. Again, departmental scholarships, the Alumni Association offers scholarships. There's lots of ways to get financial support, and I do make sure that I tell students, really make sure you're involved in these financial decisions. It's very, very easy to say, my parents are just taking care of it. I don't have to worry about it because they're going to sign all the paperwork. Whether they're paying for it or not, they just kind of sign all the paperwork. And I know that 6 months after I graduated, I got a bill in the mail for my first student loan payment. And I called my parents and I said, hey, what's this? I had no idea. So please don't do what I did and be ready, be involved, be active, talk to your parents about the financial piece and make sure that you're aware. And Stony Brook, one of the great things about being a public school is that the costs really are reasonable. Our tuition and fees are among the best value you'll find in the country, and lots of independent folks say that, not just me. You name the view book, you'll find us in there listed among the best value from Fisk's and Kiplinger's, payscale.com. Lots of folks that really recognize the value of what a Stony Brook degree can really do for you. All right, let's see what other questions have come in here. We've got, what are some efforts the university takes to make freshmen feel at home and comfortable? Fantastic question. That's a great question. So one of the things that we do, and probably the most important thing that we do for you as a freshman, is that you will affiliate with one of what we call the undergraduate colleges. And so the undergraduate colleges are academically, thematically based programs. They're not necessarily tied to any particular major. You can major in anything and be involved in any of the undergraduate colleges. And we'll get that slide up in a second so you can see that. The undergraduate college system, there they are. So the first year communities here, you see the 6 undergraduate colleges listed there. And each college has a theme to it. And so, for example, if you're coming in as a science person and you say, I am a science person and I want to live, eat, and breathe science all the time, then you may want to live in the College of Science and Society. You will find like-minded folks there. If you are that same science person and you say, I am in calculus and physics and bio and chem all in the same semester, I don't think anybody actually does that, do they? That would be crazy. But if you do that and you say, you know what, I do science all day, but I want to be involved in the arts, I want to do theater, I want to live with the arty people, I want to write, whatever, College of Arts, Culture, and Humanities, you'll find the arty people. So the undergraduate colleges are really about building that smaller community within the bigger freshman class. I mentioned earlier, we'll admit about 2,700, enroll about 2,700 freshmen this fall. It's a big group. But each undergraduate college has 400 students in it who all have that sort of same shared interest. And so it's not, hey, welcome to Stony Brook, here's 16,000 people, make friends. You're in a group of people that really kind of make sense, who are going to be in your classes, that are going to be involved in the same kinds of things, so that you make that transition that much easier. And you've got advisors you can get to know, and wonderful residence life staff who you can get to know, and really make that transition much smoother.
Also, another great resource for when you move in, and you'll have one for all 4 years, we have resident assistants on campus. And basically there's one per floor of every building, so we have over 250 resident assistants on campus. And they're really there to help all students, and especially freshman students when they're coming in, to answer those questions, to serve as a resource, as a guide to get you through your first semester, your first year here at Stony Brook. I was actually a resident assistant myself, so I know a little bit more about that. But really what they're there for is to really help you along the way and make sure that you're not getting lost in the crowd and you feel like you are a part of something here at Stony Brook. So that's another just great resource that exists here at Stony Brook.
Absolutely. We've got another question about transportation and paying to use the bus. The Stony Brook student bus is free, and we've got the Suffolk County bus, which runs locally, and I believe that's $1 or $1.25 or something for students. So that's pretty reasonable. And then you've got, as I mentioned, the Long Island Railroad 7 bus, which is brand new. It's a company that provides very inexpensive bus ride. Just comes right to campus and brings you right into New York City. So if you're living in New York City and you want to be able to go home for a long weekend or a break or something along those lines, very easy to do. If you are not from New York City and you want to spend a day in New York City, 7 bus is a great way to do that as well. So that's a nice option. Let's see, we have a question about fall 2015. So if you are a 10th or 11th grade student now and you're looking at the future, our application for next cycle, the 2014-15 cycle, typically goes live on or around August 1st. So we start accepting applications in August. Our deadline is January 15th, 2015 for fall 2015. And then our notification date for all applicants is April 1st. So if we do have anybody who is a current senior who has applied and hasn't heard, all those decisions are being finalized now, and those will be out by next week sometime. Question about fall 2014 and when everything sort of gets going. So it sort of gives us the opportunity to talk a little bit about orientation and how that kind of comes together. So orientation at Stony Brook here is a two-part thing. Your first piece starts in July, and that is what we call orientation part 1. You get all of your advising done, you take your math placement exams, all of the sort of logistical kinds of things that you need to do to be a student. But most importantly, you get to meet all the people who you're going to be living with in the fall. And so you'll meet your undergraduate college advisors, you will meet all of the other students in your undergraduate college, faculty members, all of that at the summer orientation piece. And that's a one-day program. There is also an overnight component that is not required for the summer orientation, but it is optional. So if you do want to spend a night on campus, if you're once the orientation dates go out, you'll be invited to the orientation overnight experience, and you come in the night before. We do a program with you. You meet with campus dining and a bunch of other folks, and then you do the orientation program the next day. Then the second piece for orientation is in August. August 22nd is move-in day, and that's Experience Stony Brook, and that's where everything starts. Folks move in. There are all sorts of activities to, again, meet folks, make those connections, clubs and organizations, all of that. And then classes start on Monday, August 25th for the fall 2014 semester. All right, what would you say sets the university apart from other SUNYs? I think there's a lot. I think that we've really come a long way in the last couple of years, and you sort of see on the screen there some of the things that, again, external folks have really recognized us for. There's a number of things I think that set us apart. Location, I think, is one that's really important. New York's a big state, and it's sort of a funny shaped state. And sort of where we are, having access to New York City, to the water, to all the trappings of suburbia, shopping and restaurants and whatnot, it puts us in sort of a unique situation where if you want to get that city experience but you don't want to live in an urban environment, well, you've got that, and it's just a train ride away. You want to be able to go out and find things to do with your friends, you'll find that really all around campus. So that's important. But I think the academic thing is important too, because our students do very, very well for themselves. It's hard to get in these days, and we've got some really, really bright folks on campus and folks who are doing some really, really impressive things, and that's just really continued to grow over the last couple of years.
And then when you talk about the student population here as well, not only inside the classroom but outside the classroom, you have really motivated, driven individuals making changes here at Stony Brook and beyond. We have people working on initiatives to change, policies. We have people working on, fundraising for really big causes, and it's just an exciting atmosphere to be in. So you're not only dealing with some of the, best and brightest, so to speak, like we like to say here, inside the classroom, but also outside as well, and it really makes this not competitive in the sense that it's a bad thing, but really keeps you motivated as a student as well. Because I always know that when I'm seeing someone work hard, it makes me want to work hard as well. And people are always there to help you as well. So it's not one of those competitive campuses where people are taking notes out of books or anything like that, but it's really this collegial atmosphere that I think that I found in love with here at Stony Brook over my 4 years.
Cool. Good follow-up question actually about class sizes.
So we have a number of different large lecture hall style classes, and then we also have more intimate style classes as well. So you can have a large lecture hall for an introductory class of a couple hundred students, and then you can also have a class like a writing course that has 15 students in the class, 20 students in the class. So it really runs the gamut in terms of how many people can be in your class. And typically as you move up into your later years, in your junior and senior year, and you're taking your upper division classes, those class sizes do tend to be smaller at around that 50 student or so mark.
Yeah, don't be scared off by the class size thing. I mean, I know that, I'm assuming most high school students don't have a class larger than 30, maybe 40. And so obviously coming from that into a chemistry lecture with several hundred students is going to be a little scary, and I totally get that. But there's lots of ways to make that work. And in terms of getting to know the faculty and going to office hours and asking questions and being visible and sitting up in front as opposed to hiding in the back of the lecture somewhere, all those things really do matter and make that whole experience that much better for you as well as for all the faculty involved. So.
Yep. And also in the larger style classes as well, you do have teachers' assistants as well as the professor to go to during office hours and ask them any questions about the material. And if you just needed clarification, or if you had a genuine question, or just wanted to talk about the subject that they're teaching as well, a lot of professors like to engage in conversations with students about what they're interested about. So, and it goes a long way in terms of networking.
Yep, I always tell my freshmen in my freshman seminar that I teach, go out and get to know faculty. Go ask them questions. If you're interested in research, talk to them. And I had a student last spring who was a sophomore, and he had just gotten, she's pre-dental, and he had gotten a summer research project with a faculty member in the School of Dental Medicine. And I ran into him on campus, and he apologized to me. I said, "Why are you apologizing?" He said, "Because I didn't listen to you." He said, "You told me to do it when I was a freshman, and I didn't because I didn't think I could do it, and it was much easier than I thought it was going to be." And so that's just it. Like, go and do it. Get out there and do it. The more you do it, the faster you do it, the earlier you do it, the more doors will open up for you. Question about, again, a residence hall question about having your ID, and I suppose it sort of leads to the safety question as sort of a side thing off this. Do you need to have your ID with you at all times? Well, not in a sort of like bad kind of way, but it's your meal card, it's your, it does get you into the buildings, it gets you into the campus rec center, so it's your passport to get you any place you need to get on campus. So it's important to have your ID on you with you at all times, but it's not like where they're going to check to see if you're a student kind of thing. Did I completely read that question wrong? Did I read too much into that?
No, I mean, it's really important to have your ID on you because it is your, like Chris said, it's your ticket to go to a lot of different things. It also gets you into sporting events. It gets you your free printing in the computer centers. So it's definitely important to have it, and you definitely need it to get into your residence hall as well as to pay for food when you have a meal time.
Good. Another admissions question about decisions and whether we are on a rolling decision basis. We sort of are, we have that deadline. We do have a deadline of January 15th for freshman applicants for the fall, and our notification date is April 1st, but we will send out decisions between January 15th and April 1st. It's not rolling in the traditional sense where you are, when you apply has no bearing on your when your decision is made. So if you apply in October, you may not hear until April 1st. If you apply in January, you may still hear by February 1st. So it's not rolling in that sense, but notification date for us really April 1st. Question about school spirit. Is school spirit a big deal at Stony Brook? I like to think it is. You know, and this is one of those things where I've seen so much change in the last couple of years in terms of how this campus has really, really grown. You know, in terms of folks at sporting events, folks at different things on campus, when we put out the call for tour guides, we say we need tour guides, we get more tour guide applications than we can possibly handle. You know, we've got you know, the residence life staff and orientation leaders, and folks want to be there to help, and I think there's a really vibrant spirit on campus. I don't think there's much question about that these days.
Yeah, definitely. And over the course of my 4 years here, the school spirit's only gone up tremendously. I mean, to the point where the last 2 years for homecoming, we've sold out our stadium and it's been packed out and people had to wait to get in, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's been really crazy here, especially around Stony Brook sports as well, going to all the different games. We have top-ranked teams in a lot of our different Division I sports, and it's always an exciting atmosphere as well. So there's definitely a high volume of school spirit here at Stony Brook.
Yep, absolutely. Question about festivities on campus. Well, I guess we'll probably lead with the ones that are coming up soonest, I suppose, sort of the big newer ones that are coming up. The big spring ones are the Arts Festival, the Shirley County Arts Festival. You've got the Roth Regatta, which is our annual cardboard boat race. You've got, what am I forgetting? Strawberry Fest is in the spring. What else? Homecoming, which you mentioned in the fall. Woolstock every year. What are the other big ones?
We also have our like Apple Fest, so to speak, in
Yes.
the fall. So we have a number of different those products.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Definitely, and just to touch on Roth Regatta, that's probably our biggest event
Yes.
of the year. And it's a competition where students build boats out of only cardboard, duct tape, and paint, and they can't use any other materials. And they sail those boats across our pond located in Roth Quad. And there's usually a theme to go along with the boat building over the course of the competition. So it's really cool to see the different style boats related to the theme. That doesn't always seem like the easiest task, but it's definitely one of those community building things as well. So when you talk about fitting in, the different residence halls usually come up with boats as well, and they build them. So it's a great way to get involved. So a lot of different big events.
The theme this year is
Video games.
video games. That's right. Video games is the theme. Good times. All right. Question about study abroad.
So I actually studied abroad myself here in my sophomore year. And so the answer to the question is yes, there are definitely a lot of study abroad programs and opportunities to go all over the world. And what's really cool is that Stony Brook offers a ton of programs in and of itself in Europe and Africa and Asia and South America, and you can really take advantage of those. And the study exchange programs are basically the equivalent of a semester's tuition. So if you want to study abroad during an academic semester, either the fall or the spring, you can pay close to or the same amount as tuition here at Stony Brook for that semester. But if for some reason you do not find something that you're interested in that Stony Brook offers, you have the opportunity to study abroad through another SUNY school study abroad program. So combining all 64 SUNY campuses as well as all the options that Stony Brook offers itself, there are a ton of different ways to get involved, to go to study abroad. And we also offer winter and summer programs as well. So if you're not feeling as adventurous to leave for 4 months, but you want a 1 month or a 6-week trip to go abroad and study, there are definitely those opportunities. And you can even take classes abroad that count towards your general education requirements, upper division requirements, major requirements, depending on your major. So it definitely fits in well to the academic course of study if it's something that you plan for and then go ahead and do.
And I gotta say, this is the kind of thing where, you know, folks talk about getting out in the real world and getting jobs and getting into graduate programs. This is having an international experience is something that not a lot of students do. Everybody asks about it, but not a lot of students actually go out and do it. So if you get out there and make that happen, and again, plan for it early. So if you say, you know what, I know I definitely want to do summer in Tanzania, which is one of our more popular programs, plan that. Plan that now as a sophomore, you know, as an incoming freshman. So you say, all right, I know I've got to do this, and then I've got to do this, so that I've got time and the money or whatever to get to Tanzania over the summer, or Madagascar, or wherever you want to go. The Madagascar piece, actually, well, not totally unrelated, but semi-related side note, there is a new IMAX film that's coming out next month with Professor Pat Wright from here from Stony Brook, her work with lemurs in Madagascar. So I'm going to promote that because it's a Stony Brook thing. and we saw the preview this weekend at the Muppet Movie. I was like, hey, I know her. So yeah, so go see Pat Wright's IMAX movie, and then go to Madagascar and work with the lemurs. Can't beat that, right? All right, so we're coming up on time, unfortunately, so I'm going to take one more question, and then we are going to take a little break, and then we'll come back with our pre-med folks. Questions about financial aid and when that stuff is going to happen. So for those of you who have been admitted for the fall semester and you are waiting on all of your financial aid packaging, that is happening now. So I would think at some point between now and the end of the week, all the scholarship notifications and financial aid notifications should be available in your Solar account. So make sure you keep an eye on Solar, log in, check your account regularly. All those, you'll get an email that says, hey, your package is now available in Solar, so you want to make sure that you check that. All right, so we are up on 4:45, and I thank you all for joining us. We had lots of great questions. Thank you to Jason for joining me here. We will be back in 15 minutes at 5 o'clock with Lakshmi Ramsundar from our Pre-Professional Advising Center, talking about pre-med opportunities here at Stony Brook. So we've got a bunch of pre-med questions already in the queue I saw, which is great. So take a break, get a drink, and then we will see you all at 5 o'clock for pre-med at Stony Brook. Thanks for coming, everybody.